Now, can Tom talk?
Yes. Do you need me to say more, or are we okay?
Can Tom talk?
Yes. Do you need me to say more, or are we okay?
Can Tom talk?
I can talk. There's a big delay between when I'm talking and when I'm hearing it over the meeting.
Are we still live?
Try that again. Tom, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
I think we got it.
Okay.
Are you ready to go? Okay, so I will call to order our subcommittee on streams and wetlands for January 13th. Thank you. Tom, did you have an opening statement that you wanted to make, or?
Roll call.
Oh, do we need a roll call for this? Okay. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Slater?
Here.
Commissioner Tev? Here. Commissioner Vieira Brendel?
Here.
Commissioner Heller?
Here. All right.
Can I just say one housekeeping thing? If anybody looked at the website, we have two documents that are labeled the opposite when you click on them. So if you open the minutes, it's the staff report. If you open the one that says staff report, it's the minutes. We tried to have IT fix it and they didn't get it fixed. So I apologize. So they're there. They're just mislabeled.
Something I do routinely. All right. Thank you. Tom, did you have an opening statement for us, or are you waiting for questions, or just here to monitor our behavior?
I'm mostly here to answer questions.
Okay, perfect. So I had rushed to get out a copy of an updated report, and I understand that the latest I could possibly get it was 5 p.m. today, and I must have missed that deadline. So does that mean that we cannot discuss it?
It would be better to defer discussion of the document to allow us time to publish it, and that way the public, if it wants to comment on it, has a meaningful opportunity to do so.
Okay. But it would be okay if maybe I explain what the changes are so that when my colleagues read it, they know what's happening?
Sure, just don't take any action on the report today.
Okay, that's perfect. I appreciate that. Okay, so over the holiday, I decided to continue to work on developing the report. I was not sure if that was the right thing to do, given that Marissa may have also been working on the report, and we would then maybe potentially cancel each other out or create some confusion, and she would be unhappy with me. But I decided to chance it, and it turned out that was a good decision because Marissa did not do any editing on the report. So at a minimum, we have not duplicated the work. So what I will do is, I think maybe probably the best thing to do is to keep today's meeting short and instead meet after the next Planning Commission meeting. And then Lisa, if your 9 a.m. Tuesday deadline still holds, I will take what I have done, make some final changes to it, and then get it out so that the subcommittee will have a chance to look at it. And then it will be on someone's computer, and then we can go through it line by line.
Yes, I think at the next meeting, we can have the Word doc here, and then we'll bring just like a wireless keyboard for somebody to do some live editing if that's.
So that will be our strategy. So So this report has an introduction, which hasn't been written yet. It has facts and findings, which we've done a lot of work on. It has some recommendations. Well, it has some recommendations. It has a set of maps. And then I did spend quite a bit of time going through to develop references for that. So it probably has a good 8 pages of references. And I think that also speaks to kind of our discussions in history over the planning, over our time working together. So if there's someone here, I would prefer not to write both the introduction and the conclusion, just because I would like to split the work up. So if there's someone that would be willing to write either of those two, not necessarily before you've seen the rest of the document, but maybe after our next meeting, if someone would be willing to take that on, you don't have to volunteer now, you can think about it. But I'm happy to write one or two, but it would be helpful for me if someone else would write the second part of it. It also would be very helpful if people go through and look kind of very carefully. We don't have a copy editor or any proofing available to us. We don't have professional staff that are going to be going through this. So certainly to go through this and, do some copy editing. I have tried to be careful as I go through. I know, Marissa, you had raised some, I don't want to say concerns, but you kind of, we were not always using the same words consistently
Yes,
throughout.
I'm
Yeah.
interested in copy editing for consistency's sake. Yes.
Right. And I think that there's probably more in terms of ecosystem services description that can be developed. So if people can go through and see if there are things that are missing or things that could be expanded. The point was to kind of make broad, easily justifiable statements that if you gave it to 20 ecologists, 18 would say that's right, and 1 or 2 would be grumpy about it. So that was my intention. It's kind of make these more broad statements like ecosystem services are positive rather than very detailed statements. The same about Salem, just trying to make kind of these very broad statements of fact rather than anything that was particularly, we didn't do an audit. We did is we looked over the material. So that was kind of my hope when this goes through, that you do that. And then certainly double checking maps to see if there are mistakes or anything, I'm a poor editor of my own content. So once Lisa sends this out next Tuesday, see if you can kind of look through that. So this is a collective document. Please feel free to, think if there are things that are missing or other points that we need to make. That would be helpful. One thing that I know in our recommendations that we missed or I missed was recommending that the city update its natural resources section of the comprehensive plan. So we had some ideas on what the update should look like, but that never made it into part of our recommendations. So that I included that piece of recommendation. I also tried to make it consistent. So I started out with the definition, and then I listed how much of that, what the ecosystem services are, and then I listed how much is in Salem. So hopefully each of the findings starts out with, here's what the definition is, here's what the ecosystem services are, and here's how much is in Salem. Just because I wasn't going to spend time to create, a fancy report. The maps are on a separate page. I didn't integrate all the maps into it. It was just too much to do. So you do have to flip back and forth as we go through, just to be aware of that. So I think that's where that's at. I think I will have the ability to get a final full draft to everyone by Lisa's deadline. So then I will really rely on everyone to go through so that we can finish it up next Thursday. And again, please don't hesitate to add things if you think that there's something missing. So that's my update on the report.
Can I ask a question? So I just clarified to make sure that we all understand. So it'll go out with the packet on the 20th for the meeting on the 27th. And then during that week, the whole commission will be able to see it. And if they have their own edits, they would work on those on their own and then bring those to the subcommittee meeting to discuss what their edits are.
So just to clarify, so it will go out in the packet. So, right, every commissioner will
Yes.
have it.
Yes, of course. It'll be on
And
the
we are
website. Yep.
specifically hoping that the subcommittee commissioners will bring additional content and edits.
Yes.
Right.
So you'll bring your own edits to discuss.
And any member of the public.
Yes, the public, yeah, it'll be published, and yes.
Okay, so that's my report. Okay. The report on the report. I don't know if there's anything else
So I was hoping to get a little more information about your meeting with the city. Just it was a good update, I think, in the subcommittee report section of the planning commission meeting, but I'm just curious to know a little bit more about that. It sounds like it was a productive talk, and I'd love to kind of just get a feel for what your sort of takeaway from it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit complicated because the city was really concerned that that anything that the planning commission or the subcommittee did that wasn't yet finalized would be treated by the public as some sort of commitment by the city. So if we said, oh, we think that we should, not develop the floodplains any further, like if we had that conversation, then all of a sudden, um, someone from the city council might call up the city administrator and said, I heard that we're doing this. And it's like, oh, no, that was a conversation at the planning commission. It was not. So there's a lot of concern about how the development process, developing policies gets presented. So, and I say that to lead up to the fact that, so I don't want to say anything in this meeting that makes it sound like that the city has agreed to do anything. So.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
So I think the only thing that the city really has agreed to do is to look at the draft report, discuss whether there is an appetite with the city manager and other senior staff of really engaging a discussion. So I would say that was that's where we left it. And I got the sense that I will hear back as to whether or not they are willing to kind of engage the conversation. I think they made a distinction between, thinking and talking about things versus committing to taking any action. There's always in Salem, there's always an ambiguity between what the city council can decide as policy and the discretion that staff have to implement policy. I would think that a lot of the things that we are talking about probably already fit a lot into existing city policy. I mean, not developing the floodplain certainly would need, to go through the city council, right? But there are other things that could be done that don't really need the city council. That's more around management and priorities. So, that's a little bit on the fuzzy side in terms of that. So I think my sense is maybe they were kind of, I would say that we didn't fully have that conversation, but that is a conversation I think that is maybe set up to have in the future. Where are recommendations, where are ideas that need to go to the city council? Where are ideas that are kind of within the realm of the staff? Where are things that can be done without a lot of funding? Where does it need big funding? So I felt like, at the end of it, I came out with, they had a better sense of what we were talking about.
Okay.
And what we were trying to accomplish. That, that some of their concern is, do we have very specific things, or are we asking them to make, a general, do we have a general concern? Do we want them to do, very kind of specific things? I think their concern is that, they don't want to create a situation where a committee is managing staff. So, the idea that the ideas are broader and we're not demanding like a specific approach to a solution seemed to be a little bit reassuring.
Okay.
I think we did have a conversation about, what, on this list, are there any things that we could do pretty easily? And again, I'm not in a place to make any representations on that, but I thought that was a good, the fact that they asked that was a good question. And I think again, as we know, these all cross so many departments. It's challenging.
Yes.
So I did have a conversation with someone else recently, and that person said that Kitsap County in Washington went through a process where they took an asset management approach to all of their natural resources. So they went out and cataloged them and developed a management plan and a lifespan plan and calculated the values and services. And they just went through this whole process to treat, trees and green infrastructure and everything as if it were, just part of a city utility.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go take a look at that. I
Yeah,
thought that
that's a
was
great
really,
approach.
I thought that's maybe kind of a step ahead of what maybe we were thinking, or, a more developed
Certainly
idea.
more than what I had been thinking. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So instead of just having like, there's hard infrastructure and then there's natural resources,
Mhm.
really what we have is we have a set of infrastructure that includes undeveloped floodplains or, urban forestry and that sort of thing. So I'm gonna go kind of dig into that and see what I can find on that. So that's just an extension of how the city currently thinks, just to apply to new areas. So that's what I can share.
Thank you.
Oh, I guess the other thing I've learned, the city's urban forestry plan is being updated this year. So that's kind of important. I know that I heard that they're gonna start updating the stormwater master plan. Although I thought they just updated it, so, but no, okay. There's just a lot of pieces. There's like 8 subbasins but it looks like they're starting to update it. And then there will be a master plan update for the whole park system. So when we think about it, we have parks, stormwater, and urban forestry all going through an update. So to me, this strikes me as a great opportunity
Yes.
to be having these conversations, especially if within the city, they're talking to each other as they're doing this, and they're not doing this like as an isolated, stormwater off over here, parks over here,
Mhm.
urban forestry up there, but if they're really thinking about how they can all work together and have an integrated plan, I think that actually gets at some of what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a great opportunity on our end to influence things, I think.
Yeah,
I took it.
that makes sense. Okay.
Anything else, or we can adjourn the meeting? Yes?
You did have adoption of minutes on your agenda. You need to adopt the minutes from the last meeting.
Public comment.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
we
don't
need
think
to
we have-
call for public
And I
comment.
don't,
yeah.
I hate to put our one member of the public on the spot again, but if you wish to have any comment? No?
Nope.
Okay.
So I guess would someone move the minutes from last month?
I move we adopt the November 25th, 2025 Wetland Subcommittee minutes.
All right, do we have a second?
I will second.
All right, any objections?
I have a discussion.
Oh, you have a discussion. Excellent. Sorry for me rushing it.
So part of why we touched on that you did some editing and I did not earlier. I just wanted to explain my thought process for that. When the minutes came out, it didn't say anything about a document or editing it. So knowing that we are a little bit under scrutiny for ethics at this point, I did not feel comfortable editing anything that was not available to the public. And so I just wanted to make that point that if we could make sure our minutes capture more of our discussion so that we are free to do what we say we want to do, because my notes said that we would do some editing this meeting, but we can't do that if we don't have a document in the record.
As staff, we only prepare summary minutes. That's all we're required to do. We don't do detailed minutes for any boards or commissions. So because they're recorded, we just do summary minutes.
So how do we address the concern that Marissa raised?
I guess we'll throw it to Tom since his mic is working again. Do you have any thoughts on that, Tom?
So what was the concern?
Commissioner Tev is saying the minutes didn't refer to any action that the subcommittee was going to take. So there was discussion at the last meeting that she would edit their draft staff report. In the minutes, we just do summary minutes. So we just wrote, discussion of next steps. We don't do action minutes for any boards or commissions.
Right. The agenda is not meant to be a transcript of what occurred. It is really meant to be just a summary. And so the recorded materials end up being the record for the meeting. If something is not, is inaccurately stated, then we can certainly adjust that. But there's a limit to how much detail we can put into the agenda.
Okay, so it sounds like simply stating during the meeting that's recorded that we have intention to do the editing is sufficient.
Yes.
Thank you.
As I understand it, Commissioner Tev is worried that someone will second guess her ability to take action in between the meetings and say, well, it doesn't look like the subcommittee authorized you to do this. And I think that probably could apply to any of us, like, well, can I actually do anything? So maybe you could speak to that.
There would be nothing to prevent you, whether you had permission to do so or not, to look at a document and think about what changes you wanted to make to that document. You just shouldn't discuss it outside the meeting, what your proposed changes might be. So you can cogitate on materials that are presented to you and think about how you want to change them, but presentation of those changes should happen in the public view. Does that help?
Yeah, so I actually have a follow-up question then. So let's say between meetings, I think, boy, it would be really helpful if I give city staff member A call to get a better understanding of how we regulate floodplains. And then I pick up the phone and I do that. Is that in any way problematic?
Conversations with staff are not public meetings. And so you can have conversations with staff. We'll need to then include that conversation or the results of that conversation as part of the presentation that happens on the record.
So let me push that one step further then, and
I wish you wouldn't.
but I'm going to. So let's say I call up someone who's an expert on this at a university and say, oh, I wanted to run something by you, or here's a scenario. What is your thought on that scenario? And they share it with me, and I think that's very helpful. And I take it into consideration as I engage in these conversations. What is any sort of, how do I handle that?
So what you would do is you would document your conversation and their recommendations, and then you would include that in a packet of materials that then could be considered by the committee or subcommittee as a whole.
So basically, any information that I take in any way needs to be recorded and shared.
Yes. So that the process is transparent for the public. And also so that everybody is working off of the same fund of information when they're making their decisions.
But everyone comes in with a different set of fundamental information going into things. Never mind. I'm going to stop. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay.
I guess I have actually one small procedural question. In a body of 4, would quorum be 3? Would quorum of the subcommittee be 3 members?
Yes.
Okay. Robert's rules would apply. We don't have special, so it'd be a majority, simple majority. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I don't have anything else.
Yeah, supersede that. Yeah. Okay.
Anything else?
I don't think you voted on the minutes, did you? No, so vote.
Oh, okay. So Marissa, you led the discussion. Are you satisfied with our discussion?
Yes.
Would the clerk call the roll?
Commissioner Heller,
Abstain.
Commissioner Slater,
Aye.
Commissioner Tev,
Aye.
Commissioner Vieira Brendel.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Can we adjourn as well, Robert? Adjourn.